Hello, welcome back. I hope you are well today. Before we get into this, let's pause and take a nice, deep, conscious breath, inhaling through the nostrils if you can, and exhaling through the mouth. Let it all go. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So, today we're going to be talking all about mental clarity, how to get clear on what you want, and mindful habits for mental clarity. And I'm going to be sharing at the end, after my introduction now, I'm going to be sharing, like I did last time, an old video that I created a couple of years ago. And, my perspective on clarity has changed quite a bit since I shared that. It's still very relevant. There's still a lot in there that is true today, but I really feel like my perspective on clarity has changed a lot, and I now feel like I have come to accept and embrace the times where I don't feel clear as a part of the process of becoming clear, of getting clear on what it is that I want, getting clear on the things that are really important to me, my values, getting clear on what it is that I want to create. Even just this podcast, this YouTube channel has been something that I haven't had a lot of clarity around for a long time now. And it's been in learning to trust the process, in learning to let go of the need to be clear constantly on what it is that I am wanting to create, that has created some space for new things to come in, for new clarity, for new ideas and new ways of doing things. So my perspective on clarity has shifted, and I think though it is always important, even if we're not clear on what it is that we really want, or we're not clear on what the next thing that is coming in our lives, the next phase, the next chapter, even if we're not clear on what that is, we can still be clear on things like how we want to feel. We can be clear on things like what is important to us, our values. I think our values, they can change over our lives as we step into new periods of life, as we take on different roles, and as our identity shifts and changes. Our values can change, but I think that generally the core values that are really important to us don't change all that much. These are things that are pretty consistent throughout our lives. So while we can, there are certain things that will be quite seasonal, and there will be things that do shift and change, there are certain things that we can be quite clear on consistently throughout our lives, even in those periods where we're not entirely clear. Another thing that has changed for me over the last couple of years, my perspective on clarity, is that sometimes it's really nice to let go of the need to know the outcome, the need to know what is going to happen in the future. Mindfulness teaches us that we can never really know what is coming, and it teaches us to learn to be present with what is, to take each day as it comes, each moment as it comes. But I think that there's something also really special to be said about letting go of the need to overly cling to an outcome or something in the future, because sometimes we can't predict what kinds of things, always we can't predict what's going to happen, but oftentimes things can happen in the most incredible ways that we could never have imagined possible. So if we're so attached, and if we're overly clear on how we want things to be, then we can actually limit what's possible for ourselves. And I'll give you an example. I couldn't have ever predicted that my life would go the way it's gone over the last 5 years. It's completely changed. And if you're new here, then you can go back and listen to some of my old episodes about my experience with miscarriage and divorce, and my experience with starting my life again, my experience with meeting my new husband, who is incredible. And, I just couldn't have predicted these things to happen. And so when I was able to let go of attachment, of needing to know what was going to happen at that period in my life when I was starting over, by letting go, I was able to open up so much space for a greater plan for what was meant to happen in my life. And so I think, it's really nice to have these goals. They give us a sense of direction. They give us a sense of purpose. It's nice to have clarity around the things that we're working towards in life. But at the same time, can we hold on to these goals loosely and not be so attached to the outcome so that we can open up all kinds of possibilities to happen? The other thing I wanted to mention on clarity, on mental clarity, on being clear about our goals and our intentions and even things like our values, is that oftentimes these things can be skewed when we're so caught up in what everyone else is doing around us. And we live in times where social media, there is just so much information out there. We're being constantly bombarded with messages, with what everyone else is doing, what other people are creating, what everyone else's lives look like. We're being constantly bombarded with fear. There's a lot of fear in the media. And so it can be quite difficult in amongst all of that chaos and that noise to know what is actually true for us, to know what is really authentic for us. I've been doing a lot of workshops recently with some private clients around goals and intention settings, and we've talked a lot about authenticity and about how when we're looking outside of ourselves and we're looking at what everyone else is doing, it can actually sway our vision of what it is that we truly desire. And this is something that I've personally lived. I mean, the person I was 5, 6, 7 years ago, I was so caught up in wanting to follow this path, this traditional path in life, buy the house, get engaged, get married, get pregnant, do all of these things that society tells us to do in our late 20s, whatever. And I was just so caught up in what everyone else, and not even conscious of it. I really wasn't even conscious of it until I went through that period of grief and loss with a pregnancy loss, that I really paused and I really stopped for the first time in my life and thought about, well, what do I really want? What do I really value? I value kindness. I value safety and being in an environment that feels loving and safe. I value doing work that feels meaningful. I value self-expression and being honest and being authentic and truthful. And I looked at my life and I realized that all of the things that I was working towards and all of the things that I had achieved were partly true. Yes, I wanted that beautiful life and I wanted the family and all of those things. But if I was being really honest with myself, I was going about it the wrong way. I wasn't in an environment where I felt safe and I felt seen and I felt I could express myself truly and honestly and feel loved and appreciated and all of these things that are really important to me. So it was through that experience where I really, for the first time, saw just how much I was living out of alignment with my true self. And just, it was this period of, and it has been this period of homecoming. And I know I've talked about it a lot on the podcast, but it was this period of just shedding all of these things, all of these beliefs, all of these goals and identities and things that I thought I needed to be happy, to really just come back to myself. And it's a continuous process of really checking in. Is this desire, what I'm pursuing, this goal, whatever it may be, is this really authentic to me? Or am I going about it because I think that I should, because I've been brought up to believe that that's something I should be doing? Is it someone else's dream that I'm pursuing? All of these things. So I just kind of wanted to come on here and share that before we get into sharing the rest of the video and the audio if you're listening on Spotify, and just kind of preface that and say that, like, it is a journey. We're always getting, I believe, if we want to, we're always getting closer and closer to our true selves if we are on a journey of self-discovery and uncovering our true selves. And that's what I'm here to support you with, and to share my experiences and my lessons as I go through it myself as well. So I believe that these mindful habits and rituals and routines can really help us to reconnect with that true part of ourselves, and to get that clarity on what's really important to us, and to be really clear about why and what we're pursuing and what the intention behind that is. So I hope you enjoy. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being here and watching, and I'll hand over for the rest of the audio and the video. We all have dreams, goals, and desires, but sometimes it can be hard to get clear on what it is we really want from our life. We get caught up in the chaos of everyday life with all of its distractions. It can be easy to lose sight of what's really important to us. As we recently moved into a new season, I've been feeling the call to reset and reassess my life. I've been finding myself moving a little slower these past few weeks, feeling the need to get clear on what it is that I want to create and manifest as I move into this next chapter of my life. Learning to slow down and be present always helps me to find clarity. Allowing myself moments to pause and just be. I find it's from this place of stillness that our truest desires are able to come to the surface. When we're able to quieten down some of that mental chatter and outside noise. There's a quote I love: "Quiet the mind and the soul will speak." Even just sitting for a few minutes in stillness, focusing on my breath, can really help to quieten down some of that outside noise and to create space for clarity to come in. I often find there's a direct relationship between the state of my environment and my mental state. When my space is messy or cluttered, I also feel like my mind is cluttered and overwhelmed. By taking some time to regularly clean and declutter my space, it can really help me to not only feel more calm, but also clearer mentally. It's as if tidying up our space can also free up space in our minds for more important things. Another thing I love to do is to cleanse my space regularly. I find this can help to clear any negative or stagnant energy, which frees up space for new inspired ideas to come in. We like to mostly use Palo Santo in our apartment, but you can also use incense, sage, or a candle to cleanse your space. I find journaling is another great way to find mental clarity. Getting our thoughts and ideas down onto paper can help us to get clear on the kind of thoughts that we're having in the first place. This awareness of what our thoughts even are is an invitation to look a little deeper at what it is that we do and don't want in our lives. Sometimes it takes getting clear on what we don't want in order to get clear on what it is that we actually do want. So something I've been doing lately is writing a list of the things in my life that serve me and the things that don't. Essentially, what it is that I want to focus more energy and attention on, and the things that I'd like to let go of as I move into this next chapter and few months. I always feel more clear and calm when I'm doing something creative. This is because when we're engaged in a creative project, our attention is fully in the present moment. Baking is one of my favorite mindful activities. I find that it helps me to get out of my head and into the present moment. I always lose track of time and become completely absorbed in the moment. By doing something creative and mindful like baking, it can help us to create space from all the thoughts and outside noise. When we become so engrossed in the present moment, the mental chatter seems to fade away. That's why creative projects can help us to relieve stress and feel more calm. And this is truly the foundation of mindfulness, bringing our attention into the present moment. I hope some of these habits have been helpful, and I look forward to sharing more with you soon as I continue to practice slowing down and being more mindful. Thank you so much for watching. I'm so glad that you're here, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. Until then, take care. Bye for now.